for allowing me to come in and talk to you. I'm going into my senior year in college, and I'm doing a speech class. And for one of the things, I have to try and give a speech to a certain amount of people. So today I'll be speaking to you about the generation gap. It's something that, especially today, we have a lot of, it seems to be pressing on us and getting farther and farther apart. I'm a 90s baby, so I'm still a youngin'. So I don't have too much experience with the generation gap, but it's something that I've noticed even just like talking to my parents and my grandparents and even just my sisters. My sisters are just 5 years younger than me. So I know, you've heard it probably before. Back in my day, kids didn't do that. So I was talking to my sisters just the other day, and they said something their friends did, and I was like, kids didn't do that when I was your age, and that was just 5 years ago. So it seems like things are changing fast. Well, just in the 90s, we had cell phones with antennas that stuck out. We still had landlines that had cords to it. So if you were trying to talk to your friends or something, it's probably in front of your mom. They had dial-up. Got to sit there and wait for that Yahoo page to pop up. But you were cool though, because you saw that one Yahoo page. Always heard, get off the internet, I need to use the phone. Getting on the computer to play Paint or Anaconda versus all the video games and things we have now. Saturday morning cartoons, writing notes in class, things like that. Just sitting by the radio trying to record your favorite song. So one thing I found, it was from one of the websites I was looking at, the Generation Gap, and someone said, I was born in the 80s, but grew up in the 90s. We're the last generation that learned to play the street. We were the first to play video games, the last to record songs off the radio on cassettes and on VHS tapes, which kids these days don't even know what that is. We are the pioneers of Walkmans and chat rooms. We learned how to program the VCR. We played Atari, Genesis, Super Nintendo. We're the generation of Thundercats, Power Rangers, Transformers, Saved by the Bell, Prince of Bel-Air. We traveled in cars without seatbelts or airbags, lived without cell phones, and had things like, we didn't have flat screen TVs, iPods, and things like that, but we still had a great time. So that's something that I found, and something that I can still relate to. But one thing that I think drives our generation gap is technology. Technology is good for a lot of things, but there's still disadvantages. I'm sure you've seen grandkids texting on their cell phones all the time and probably saying something to them. In 1956, PC World posted something about 1956, our first IBM shipped the first hard drive, and it only held 5 megabytes, and it was about the size of 2 huge refrigerators. And it was about $10,000 per megabyte, so it's about $50,000. Well, nowadays we have SD cards that fit on the back of our cell phone, and they're smaller than the size of this penny. So 2 big, huge refrigerators compared to the size of this penny, and that was just about 56 years ago. So technology's changed a lot. But is it disconnecting us? CBS on just April 3rd, just a few days ago, posted an article about how smartphones are kind of making us lonely now. Because you'll see maybe watching TV and everyone's on their cell phone. Even though you're watching TV together, everyone's on their cell phone. And the Washington Post in October 11th of 2011 said we have more cell phones than number of people now in the U.S. It was 327.6 million compared to 315 million. And the average home of 2.6 had over 24 gadgets. So it's a lot of technology. Time and Forbes posted an article in just this year saying we have more cell phones than planes now. So it's becoming a problem. But technology is not all bad. We just have to figure out how to use it for the better. We do have things like it helps us out with medicine. It helps us out with talking to your grandkids or talking to people from across the world. But we need to try and figure out how to connect better with each other, maybe using the technology. like holding on to family traditions, cooking with your grandkids. My grandma and I cook together all the time, passing down family recipes, spending time together, just, you know, family time. We kind of have to go back to the old school ways of just sitting down and talking to each other, and just spending time with each other. So even if that means listening to, you know, stories from your grandkids, listening to their first day of school, or us listening to stories about how it was your time. My grandma and I have those conversations all the time. So in conclusion, we have gaps between generations, but there are things that we can do to fix it. Technology is a good thing, but it does have its disadvantages. In a world where there's more cell phones than toilets and more cell phones than people, we all have to do that old-fashioned thing of just sitting down and talking with each other and having fun with each other. Well, that was everything. Thank you for allowing me to talk.
Thank you. Got a couple of them, so I'm going between.